Hello, everyone, and welcome into another episode of the Big Blue News Podcast. I'm your host, Chris Beesmore. Of course, got my co-host with me, Nolan Fleming, and today we are going to be talking about Kentucky football and previewing the season and predicting, what will UK's record be at the end of the year. So
Yeah,
let's,
it's finally here, dude. Finally made it. It feels like we've waited an eternity. But that's the way it goes, I guess, in college football. It just takes forever.
yeah, it feels like there's such a long off season after basketball
Really is.
ends, and then it takes like 3 months for football to come back on at least or so.
Yeah, you gotta watch baseball and fill the time, just anything.
Hey, I mean the Reds were pretty good for about a month or two with everything
Yeah, my
approved.
Giants are really screwing it up right now too. They're not. It's going pretty bad, but at least I'm not a Yankees fan. I sure am happy about that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they're imploding. You're not wrong, but like I said, today we're going to be talking just to see what UK's schedule is going to be. We'll also be talking about the depth chart and everything, but let's get into it. Obviously, I think everybody thinks UK's first three opponents, UK will win. Ball State week one, obviously
Yeah,
coming up.
if you don't win though, something has gone terribly wrong and someone needs to be fired.
Yeah, so yeah, week one, noon. Sadly, Nolan and I won't be at the game though to
Week two
start.
though, be
Yeah,
there.
week two against EKU. Oh, I remember whenever UK had Patrick Toles back in the day, and we barely won, all thanks to
The last two have been that way. 'Cause even the Steven Johnson year, the second year, the year Benny Snell kind of blew up.
yeah,
It was really close. Weren't they down going into the fourth in that game?
something like that. But I do remember the Patrick Toles year
Oh yeah,
whenever UK had to have that game-winning touchdown pass to Dorian Baker, and
that was rough because that took a miracle. That game did.
yeah, I did.
I remember the whole time just being like, "Well, that's it for this team. This team's done."
Yeah,
We were kind of right. That team was done after that.
yeah, but like I said, UK at least beat EKU that year, but obviously that was old school Kentucky football. I expect UK to put pounding on EKU. If they don't put at
Yeah.
least like 30, 40 points up on EKU, I would be surprised.
I would be pretty upset if they didn't. But then again, Chattanooga, I mean, here a few years gave a scare as well. So
Yeah, even
never
lose.
know you never know with FCS, dude. They come out of nowhere. They
Yeah,
really do.
well, dude, I remember Chattanooga a couple years ago. They almost beat WKU, my alma mater.
hmm
I was at
Yeah,
that.
I watched that game, but Chad, I don't know. Kentucky can have a tendency sometimes under Stoops to I don't know if it's that they don't circle it or something, and that they don't really like play to their competition. They play down, if
Yeah, they
anything.
play down or play up to their competition usually.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And then the third game of the year, Kentucky versus Akron, obviously should probably
I
be
take that a win too. Yep.
another easy win. Put up 30.
I don't know about easy. I actually think that's going to be a lot like Northern Illinois last year. I think it could be like an 8 point game,
Ooh,
9 point game. It could
I
be a
don't
little
know.
closer than you think.
Yeah. What was the one team that UK played last year that I cannot think of where everybody thought, oh, it was Youngstown State. We didn't even
hmm
like bring in our backup. It was 31 to nothing.
Yeah.
Maybe uh let's see. Yeah, we didn't even bring our backup in. Will Levis played that whole game, and
Yeah, and he played pretty rough too, if I remember correctly.
yeah, I mean, yeah, we still won by 31 points, but didn't even have
Yeah, but
to really bring in our backup with Kai Sharon or Destin Wade that game.
yeah. And like I was talking about Northern Illinois, that was another one I think that really got away a little bit, got away from them.
Yeah,
Uh,
a
they
game
had a
that,
lot of chances to put that game away. I remember it just
yeah,
didn't happen, but
I do
oh
remember.
well, we're dreading on the past. Let's just
Yeah,
let's
yeah.
look towards the future with
All right,
really happy eyes.
all right. So 3-0 to start out the season. Then Kentucky versus Vanderbilt. Obviously, it's an away game, but Kentucky
Kentucky all the way.
Kentucky should beat Vanderbilt. Last year wasn't just a fluke. Had a bad offensive coordinator in Rich Scangarello.
I think so too. I think the line was the downfall of that game as well, and special teams, both of which I expect to be better. So I think Vanderbilt is a win this year, and Vanderbilt looked pretty bad against Hawaii.
Yeah, they
The
did.
defense, at least, the offense actually looked okay.
Yeah, you're not wrong. The defense looked terrible, and I'm so ready for like Liam Cohen to expose Vanderbilt
That happened here when we played them down there last time with
Yeah,
Levis. He kind of had a big game that day.
he did. So yeah, so UK, we both believe they start 4-0. But how about Florida versus Kentucky at Kroger Field? Do you think Kentucky can get a win there?
I'm less confident than I have been the last 2 years because I think Florida's going to be really amped up.
Yeah,
They want to beat Kentucky. This is not a thing anymore, and I want to make clear because I have friends who are Florida fans. This is not a thing anymore where it's just us who thinks it's a rivalry. It is a rivalry through and through now.
yeah.
Kentucky, Florida, that is circled on their calendar right now. Like it just is. It's a lot. It's not to the same extent of Georgia and Tennessee.
Hmm.
Maybe LSU, maybe to that extent. Like, I think it is a big deal for them. But I think Kentucky pulls it off. I think they come through. I think Kentucky even understands how big that game is going to be for their season.
Yeah, I think so too. I think Devin Leary and probably Barryon Brown will have a very big game. Who knows? Maybe Devin Leary throws over 300 yards that game.
I
Three
think that would
touchdowns.
be one where he could really excel because that was one where Levis, I know he didn't throw like great, but that's one where the air attack kind of got us to the win.
Yeah, I mean the defense too. I mean, I
Yeah, and the defense is going to be just your typical Kentucky defense, and
yeah.
that game is always a defensive game, but it's always a really fun one. And I wouldn't be shocked if College Game Day's not here, which I really want to happen because I want to go to College Game Day.
Yeah, it's either going to be probably if Kentucky can start out the season 4-0 and Florida's, 4-0 at that time too, or 3-1 at that time. I could see potentially college
I
game.
think it would happen.
Yeah, or it would be the following week more than likely between Kentucky
Georgia.
and Georgia. Yeah.
I think they'll definitely be at that one if we're both undefeated. If we
Yeah,
beat Florida,
I
they'll
think so.
certainly be there.
Yeah, I think so too. But yeah, I think if UK wants to beat Florida this upcoming year, Devin Leary needs to have a big game, or somebody on the offense needs to have a big game, whether that be, Barryon Brown, Dane Key as well. But
Yeah, it's
yeah,
going to be your typical close game between the two. It's not going to be a runaway either way.
yeah, I think for UK to probably win this game, not even on the defensive side, just on the offensive side, I'd say Devin Leary needs to at least throw for 250 yards at least.
I think that's reasonable, and I think you got to stop the run game too,
Yeah.
because that's something Billy Napier seems to really enjoy. And Graham Mertz, you don't have to worry too much about that with him. I don't think Graham Mertz. No, I'm not trying to knock Graham Mertz. I actually think Graham Mertz is going to take a pretty good step up.
Mhm.
I actually think I'm actually more intimidated by him right now than I was Richardson last year for some reason. I think because
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
There's not a lot of hype around Graham Mertz compared to good old Anthony.
But I think he's gonna break out. I really do. I'm
Yeah.
that convinced Graham Mertz breaks out this year, and I think, and if he does, I think he could be dangerous, and I think Florida could be dangerous.
Yeah. And I think I mean, last year everybody was wanting Kentucky to get Graham Mertz. Everybody was like, let's
I
get
know
let's get Graham Mertz or DJU. I can't think of his last name.
DJ Ungalile.
Yeah, from Clemson. Obviously, he
Yeah,
transferred
he's a
to Oregon State.
yeah.
But
I think we came out on top though. I think Leary was probably the best option there.
yeah, I agree. And obviously, Liam Cohen coming in definitely helped to get Devin Leary to come here to
Hmm.
Kentucky. Will Levis also had that connection with Devin Leary saying, like, you need to come to Kentucky, it'll be great.
Right.
But but yeah, so I'm glad we both agree that UK is going to start out 5-0 to start out the year. So now here comes Kentucky versus Georgia
Yeah.
at Athens.
They will not be 6-0. They will lose that game.
Yeah, I don't think they'll win that game. So
I think it can be close because I mean they didn't really keep it that close, I guess, a couple years ago, but closer than other teams had at that point. Kentucky
yeah,
does tend to give Georgia a bit of a fight.
yeah, I think Georgia plays down to like Kentucky for sure whenever
I
they
think
are,
they did too.
and UK always plays up to Georgia, and that's why it's just so close every year. Obviously, UK never wins, but it's always a low scoring game, like
I
nine
think I
16.
think we're closer to that than we think
Hmm.
to beating Georgia.
Yeah,
I don't think it's this year, but I think next year. Uh, I'm not saying it does happen next year, but I'm saying I do think next year could be a really good opportunity for it. And I
yeah,
think this year could really have been if it were at Kroger Field because I don't think Georgia's going to be bad. I actually expect them to probably win another national championship.
yeah,
But you catch them in a good time. You catch them right in the middle. right off a big game. I think who do they play the week before Kentucky?
Let's
I
go
thought
and investigate. They play the week before UK Auburn.
yeah, see that's a big game for them.
Yeah,
You catch them off a big game. Let's just hope they don't lose because that's a terrible,
yeah,
terrible outcome if it does happen. The rat poison and all that. But I think, but I just don't think it's this year. If it were at Kroger Field, I would actually think that it could be the year.
yeah. It could potentially be the year. I mean, a couple years ago with Liam Cohen, they played really great. At
They
Georgia.
really did. The first half was really close. Like it
Yeah,
was a rock fight. And
yeah.
then just the third quarter got away from them.
Yep, you're not wrong, but yeah, I think we both agree UK will probably lose to Georgia, but hey, 5-1, we'll take it, to
That's not bad. That's a good
and
start.
I would say UK Georgia will be low scoring. It'll probably be like 17-10 or something
I
instead.
think that's a fair estimate. I think it'd be more like 27-13 or 30-13, something like that.
Yeah, it's always low scoring, it feels like
Yeah,
though.
they don't ever score. What was it last year? Like 16-6. And then there was the year where it was like 21-0. Like it was just
Yeah.
it's never high score. And then there was 14-3. See, literally the last four matchups have been like nothing.
Yeah, no, nothing. All right. And then the following week, Kentucky plays against Missouri at home at Kroger Field, but everybody knows about Mark Stoops and having a letdown after losing one game.
Yeah, I'm afraid of that one.
It always down spirals to, the next game, and
I'm
people,
gonna take a loss there
you're going to take a loss there. So,
because I usually when we lose a big game,
Mhm.
I tend to think that it has a bad effect. I don't know why. I don't know if it's coaching. I don't know what it is, or if there's something in the water. But I might take no. Actually, no. I change it. I'm going to take a win just to be positive. But I'm really skeptical.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's been always a downward trend. Usually, once UK loses one game, then they lose the
And they
following.
lose like two or three in a row too. It's really
Yeah,
bad.
I mean, that's what happened this past year. Obviously, UK didn't have Will Levis playing against South Carolina, but they lost to
Yeah.
and then they lost to South Carolina.
And then got just a shellacking from Tennessee. So
Yeah, yeah. But I'm still going to take a win, even though UK loses the week before, in our opinion. So
mhm.
6-1. All right. Now it's Tennessee versus Kentucky at Kroger Field. All right, so we're over halfway through the season. We have a bye week between the Missouri Tennessee game. So 6-1. Kroger Field bye week we have. So what do you think happens?
I'm gonna take. I'm gonna take Kentucky.
What?
Yeah, I think Liam Cohen has their number a little bit. I think he knows how to exploit that secondary. We were so close a couple years ago, so close.
If
Last time they were at Kroger Field, it should have happened.
Yeah, if
The
it
fact that we
wasn't
didn't
for
win that
that
game
pick
is ridiculous.
six, face mask, uh, that wasn't called, Mark Stoops, unsportsmanlike conduct, everything that could have gone wrong
Yeah,
went
yeah.
wrong that game.
We were so close. I just think it happens this year. I think this is the year that we finally we don't I don't think we get rid of those Tennessee nightmares, but we at least delay them.
I think, in my opinion, Kentucky will lose. So right now, Nolan, after the Tennessee game, would be, I believe, 6-1, I believe, and then uh,
7-1.
7-1, and then I would be 6-2. So I do think
Yeah.
Kentucky will actually keep it close this upcoming year, especially since it's at Kroger Field.
And
And
Liam Cohen is not Rich Scangarello. So
yeah, and Lee Point is also back. So I think, in my opinion, Kentucky will keep it close this upcoming year, but I just don't think they have the gas, the energy to, beat Tennessee. I mean, when was the last time Kentucky beat Tennessee? I'm trying to think.
2020
Yeah,
at Tennessee, where they just they had the like two pick sixes.
yeah. I do remember that. It was my brother's wedding. We were watching that game before my brother got married. I do remember that back in 2020. Good time.
Yeah, I don't remember where I was when I watched it. I think I was somewhere.
Hmm.
I think it might have actually been a wedding.
Really?
Yeah, not your brother's wedding, I promise.
I know. But yeah, so I have right now 6-2, Nolan, 7-1.
7-1.
Yeah. And then the following week after that, Kentucky takes a trip to Starkville to Mississippi State. And Mississippi State has had Kentucky over the years playing there. They haven't won a game since 2008, I believe. So
Hmm.
it's been almost 15 years since Kentucky beat Mississippi
Yeah.
State there. It's crazy.
I don't think it's this year. I think Mississippi State wins that game. I think we
Yeah.
lose. I just something about Starkville. Our players never respond down there. The cowbells really get to them, and I'm not even joking. I think they actually do really get to them.
Yeah, I mean it's so loud.
Throws off signals, throws off play calling. Just it's insane.
Yeah. Yeah, I think potentially UK could get that win for the first time since 2008. I think that would be my biggest upset for the year if Kentucky does pull that off because like I said, it hasn't happened in like 15 years. And so Kentucky is due
Hmm.
for a win, but like you said, I think they
Yeah,
will end up with a loss, sadly. Hopefully that doesn't happen. UK goes on a win, but yeah, I think 6-3 after that game, and then UK has a tough last three matchups with Alabama coming to Kroger Field, Kentucky taking a trip to South
yeah,
Carolina, and then Kentucky also going to Louisville as
yeah.
well. So
Alabama, go ahead and write that down as a loss. We both know that that's not going to happen.
no, it's happening this year, bro.
We
Biggest
want Bama. I do not want anyone to say we want Bama. I promise we don't. I
we
think
want Bama,
Alabama,
man.
Alabama's going to be really good this year.
They don't have Bryce Young.
I'm an Alabama football fan. Let me just go ahead and clear the air real quick. I've said this on Amateur Sports Scholars before. I'm a Kentucky fan. I was an Alabama football fan way before I was a Kentucky football fan. You can call me a bandwagon, whatever. I got it from my dad. I promise I got it from my dad. It was just the way it was. My dad did not go to UK. I go to UK now, so I guess I am UK first now.
Huh?
But I'm just saying, I keep up with Alabama. I know everything that's going on.
Yeah, look,
Uh,
you
they're
can't
going
be
to be
an
good.
Alabama and Kentucky fan, man. Come on now. God,
Yeah, I can.
no way.
Everyone, I get the same thing, dude. Oh, you're a bandwagon, all of that. I didn't just randomly hop on. Like, it's just the way it is. Like, my family's been Alabama fans. I can't help it. They're the bandwagons, not me.
All
I'm
right,
just guilty by association.
you're kicked off the podcast now. No longer my co-host.
Fine. I'll just go to my podcast and talk about how great Alabama is.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I can already expect that everybody's going to be hating on me in my Twitter for a long time for this if we post this clip.
Well, we will post this clip, but hopefully, maybe we can get some viewers coming in soon. Get more than like 10 views.
I just ask that if you send me death threats, actually, I just ask that you don't send me death threats, but if you do, be nice about it.
Be nice. How can you be nice about that?
Well, we'll find out.
Hey,
Fair ways put it.
he did say in his podcast that he said just tweet at me and I'll send you my address. So just do
I
that.
did say that, but I'm not going to send you my address.
Oh,
It maybe I'll send you $1,000. I won't, but I might. I definitely won't. So
yeah, only if we were like millionaires, bro.
yeah, I ain't got anything.
All right, so yeah, so we are going to be 6-4 after I think 6-4 after the Alabama game. I think you're at
I'm
seven
at
and three.
7-3.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
7-3 for Nolan, 6-4 for me, and then Kentucky versus South Carolina. I know so many people are giving so
Yeah,
many
I'm
props
giving
to
that a
South
loss.
Carolina.
I don't think it happened. I don't think we win this year. I think South Carolina is going to be good.
I just I just don't understand the hype. I guess it's the same way for people
I don't
outside.
either, but I'm going based off of the what we talked about earlier, the big game letdown. I think it happens this time. So I think 7-4 then.
Yeah, I just think there's so many people hyping up South Carolina. It's like for Kentucky, I guess for us, we're hyping up the football program, but there's no hype outside of it. And that's how I
No.
feel. That's how I feel with South Carolina. Like I'm outside the program and I just don't see the hype, for
Yeah, and I'm sure people are the same way about us right now because last year there was a lot of hype around Kentucky after the Florida game. I mean, we were being considered legitimate playoff contenders
yeah,
for like 2 or 3 weeks because we were. Had we beat Ole Miss, we would have literally been ranked like number 4 in the country.
yeah, we would have
But
been definitely in the top five.
yeah, but and that didn't happen. And everybody watched us, kind of take a downward spiral. And now all of a sudden, I think everyone is just like, "Why are we here? Like, what are we talking about?"
Yeah. And I think Kentucky does upset South Carolina this year, I think UK will have enough this upcoming year as long as Devin Leary can stay healthy and Liam Cohen can call a great game while at South Carolina. I just don't see why Kentucky can't get a win against.
It's just the last year, the way it went, and then even the year before was kind of rough over there. So I just like we barely won over there. It was like what 16-10. It was rough to watch. So I'm gonna take that as a loss just because of history.
I'll take the win against South Carolina. So we're both
And
at
I'll take the win against Louisville before you even start.
yeah. So we're both right now at 7-4, but obviously Nolan just made his announcement for the Louisville game, and I
Yeah.
think Kentucky, even with the new head coach from Louisville, I think UK will still get the win. Whenever they take that trip to good old Louisville this year and continue
Yeah.
streak that we've been on. How many games have we won? A lot recently. I think we've won what, 5?
5 or 6. Let's see. It's 2018, 2019, 2021, 2022,
Yeah,
4.
so 4 in a row. But yeah, we've won I think 4 of the last 6 or 5 of the last 7 because we won in 2016.
Lost in 2017.
Yeah, 2018,
5 of the last 6 then.
21, and 22. So yeah, 5 of the last 6 we won. So I think
Yeah.
Kentucky will continue that
I
streak.
think they do too, but I will point out, as long as Brom is coach at Louisville, I think they do beat Kentucky eventually.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be something we can just hang on to forever. I think Brom is going to get Louisville really, really good because I think he's just that good of a coach.
I think so too, but obviously I also watched him coach at Purdue, and he's so pass first. And some of the games he lost at Purdue was because he
Yeah,
passed.
it is true. But then again, they beat Ohio State by like a bajillion because of it.
Yeah, I mean it just depends. I think it was the first game I watched last year, like the very first game of the year, maybe second game, and I was watching Purdue. Purdue had the game, wrapped. The game was over, but Jeff Brom kept passing the ball. I'm like, what are you doing? And then Purdue eventually lost that game. I'm like,
Yeah, and then there was remember the Music City Bowl against Auburn where they lost like 60 something to 7 or nothing. That was really bad because like it kept getting picked off. Like
yeah.
and they wouldn't go away from it. I think that ends up being the downfall this year is I think Kentucky's secondary is going to be really strong,
Hmm.
or at least stronger than it has been.
Hmm.
Like last year, if that offense goes against Kentucky's defense last year, it's not really that much of a game, I don't think.
Yeah.
The secondary was so good. Now, 2 years ago, we're talking to different stories. The secondary was really shaky,
Hmm.
but I just think it's a different story this year. I think this year it'll be. I don't think it'll go in Louisville's favor running that type of offense
Yeah.
either.
So we're both predicting an 8-4 record, but obviously different ways we're going to get to eight
It's
and
what 8-4 and 4-4 in SEC play.
yeah. I don't know what my record was in SEC play, probably 4-4.
Yeah,
But yeah. But in my opinion, also before we get into the depth chart and everything, I think the best potential record UK could get, obviously 12-0 would be the best, but the best I
yeah, but
think would be either 9-3 or 10-2, with one of the wins being against Mississippi State or Tennessee. That would be 9-10 right there.
I think that's a pretty good estimate. I think that's probably the ceiling right there.
Yeah. Worst
Floor is 5-7.
worst case, I see UK 5-7, and you but said Florida going 5-7 this upcoming year.
What'd you say?
Did you just say Florida would go 5-7 this
No, I
upcoming?
said worst. I said the floor is five and
Oh,
seven.
Florida.
Worst
Yeah,
case scenario.
that's why.
But
That's why I said
Florida's not going 5-7. Florida's gonna be good. But
I saw before coming on this podcast, somebody had them going 4-8 this year, and I just don't.
Florida,
Yeah, I just don't see that happening.
I don't get that at all. Like people really don't like Graham Mertz. I don't think they understand that. I think he was held back by his offense in
Yeah.
Wisconsin, is what I think. No offense, Paul Chryst, but it
Mhm.
just was not working there the last few years with him. Even like with Alex Hornibrook and Jack Cohen and all those guys, like even they weren't like working great. And you saw Jack Cohen go to Notre Dame and ended up being one of the greatest quarterbacks in history of the school. So like,
Yeah, but yeah, I just don't see the hate towards Florida. I get they weren't that great last year. I think last year I predicted Florida would go 7-5, and they came pretty close. I think they went 6-6.
6-6, 6-7, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I thought they were going 7-5. I'm like, they're rebuilding. I'm like, I don't think they won't be that bad. And obviously they were. They lost to Vandy, last year, which UK also did as well. So you can't really talk crap.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Mhm.
But watching Vandy the other night, I put this on my Twitter or X. I'm not even gonna call it X. It's just yeah, I guess we gotta call it X technically, but because of purposes, because of certain reasons. But
Yeah.
I put this on there. I said that Vanderbilt kind of reminded me of the early year Mark Stoops teams, early eras. And they really do. Like their offense is a lot like the Patrick Tolles led offense
Mhm.
with the where it was just so pass heavy and then the like a lot of jet sweeps, like,
Mhm.
Wildcat. It just really is. So I actually think Vanderbilt, because of that, is on the rise.
Yeah,
I
I think
think
so
I,
too.
I think they're on the way up, and I think I joked and said that it shouldn't be a problem for Kentucky to beat them. I actually think that they're going to be better this year than we think.
Yeah, Clark Leah, he's a great head coach. I mean, I still can't believe the over-under was only 3.5 to go into the season. I think they'll easily,
I think they'll go over.
yeah,
I
like,
see easily 4
right.
wins on there. I
Yeah,
see easily 4 wins. I think they win all the non-con, and I think they win one SEC game, if not two, maybe
yeah,
even three. I mean, like
yeah,
they're. I think that I'm not saying they'll do anything crazy, but I
yeah.
think their ceiling is like maybe 6-6, 7-5 if we're really
Mhm.
really tripping.
Yeah,
But
and like I said, they beat last year UK and Florida, so potentially could be on the rise this upcoming year.
yeah, it was Florida at Florida, or was it in Vanderbilt? I thought that was at Vandy, wasn't it?
I thought it was at Florida.
If it was at Florida, then Florida and had better watch out as well for that game.
Let's go
Uh,
look at it real quick, and then we'll get into the depth chart, and then we'll end the podcast. Whoops, I put 2002 instead of 2022 on
yeah,
here.
that ain't it.
And ain't it cheap? No, it was
That
that.
ain't it at Vandy. So
Yeah,
yeah, Florida will be fired up and
yeah.
all that, and they'll
Yeah,
win.
I don't think you'll. I don't think Florida will lose that game. But all right, now let's get into the depth chart for this upcoming year. It was released today for the first time since the bowl game and UK. They don't really have any surprises.
Not
Uh,
at all.
The only really things I want to point out real quick is UK, they are down two offensive tackles right now. Ben Christman and Nick Hall will both miss this whole season. Ben Christman was the yeah, I don't know why I keep saying that. Ben Christman was the Ohio State transfer that
Right.
to Kentucky, and then Nick Hall
You got it. There you go. There you go.
was a
Spit it out.
freshman this past year, uh, last year for Kentucky, and they're both out this upcoming year due to injuries. So,
The only thing that and this is weird. The only thing that surprised me, and not really surprised me, but I was intrigued by, is I didn't have any idea, is that Alex Rayner is the kicker. I
mhm.
didn't know if they were going to maybe move Chance Poor into that or not. But I had completely forgot that they had got him as a transfer from, I
Yeah,
think it was like Georgia Southern.
yeah, Georgia Southern, you're right, and then Chance Poor is the backup kicker. And then obviously not a surprise, but obviously Devin Leary is the starting quarterback. Everybody should be so shocked, so surprised right now
Yeah,
about that.
I can't believe that. I thought for sure it'd be Kai Sharon.
Oh yeah, for sure. But
No hate on Kai Sharon. He actually played pretty good when he did.
yeah, the other thing I want to bring up is right now they have not decided on who's going to be the starting right tackle right now. It obviously says Jeremy Flax number one, but it says or on it, so it's Jeremy Flax
Yeah, Cortland Ford.
or Cortland Ford. So they haven't made up that decision. I remember Liam Cohen recently just said that he feels like they have 7 to 8 players or they have 11 players right now that can play, but they only want like 7 to 8 players playing like
Right.
full time on the offensive line.
I'm surprised by Josh Caddis. He's still the and Brennan Bates. There's a big oar next to them as well.
Yeah,
Caddis has a lot of potential. I think
yeah,
I'm not hating on Brennan Bates. Brennan Bates has been very good here,
yeah.
but Josh Caddis can be something. He just I don't know. There's something about him
Hmm.
that really is intriguing. I think he could be really good. And I expect big things from Jordan Dingle this year. I think he's going to be really good.
I do too. The only person that I was really surprised though was how far Ramon Jefferson was down on the depth
Yeah,
chart
he's
at
like
running
what,
back.
fourth?
Yeah, it looks like he's fourth. It goes Ray Davis, obviously, as a starting running back. Shuton McClain, then the NC State transfer that always
Jimmy
that second.
Sumo,
Demi
Farm
Sue,
Bay or something.
Punk Bay, yeah, something like that. And then obviously Ramon Jefferson, last on the running backs list. But obviously it says or on it, so he could potentially get some playing time. But
Yeah, he won't be the second string. It'll clearly be McLean at the
yeah,
second string, and Davis will definitely start.
yeah. But also let's talk a little bit about the wide receivers. So they have Tavion Robinson as the F, Dan Key for the X spot, and then Barryon Brown for the Z spot. So
Yeah.
those are
Uh,
the three main starting wide receivers this
yeah, no
upcoming.
shocker there. That's pretty much exactly how it was last year.
Yeah, but I'll be surprised if we don't see any playing time from the true freshman Anthony Brown
Yeah,
on the wide
and
receiver.
I'm surprised. I'm not, well, not surprised. I don't know how to put it, but DeKale Crowd is on the depth chart. I think that's worth noting.
Yeah, no, the kill crowd is on the depth chart, and I mean he's just been in a little trouble over the years, so maybe they're just trying to make sure he's no longer getting into trouble
No,
for the.
I'm saying he is on the depth
Oh,
chart.
he is.
Yeah, he's on there. He's right behind Dan Key.
My bad. I was overlooking it.
I was just
I do.
surprised by that. I didn't know if he was going to be maybe suspended, which he might be, might still be. We
Yeah.
don't know, but I didn't know if there was going to be a suspension or something for
Yeah.
maybe 2 or 3 games.
Yeah, who knows? We'll see what happens. I mean, I think if he was going to get suspended, I think Mark Stoops would have probably announced it today during his press
I
conference.
think he would have too. So clearly he's going to be
Yeah.
available.
And then I just want to get a little bit more. Our punter this upcoming year is Wilson Berry. He was the punter
Hang on just a second, Chris.
After Colin Goodfellow got injured. And then on the defensive side, and I think probably Nolan is saying goodbye, but I just want to finish up the podcast real quick on the defensive side. I think we're going to be loaded Octavius Oxidine, Josiah Hayes, Dion Walker, Alex Safari, Keaton Wade, JJ Weaver, Tyrese Fearby, Derek Jackson, Trevin Wallace, Maxwell Harrison, JQ Hardaway, Andrew Phillips. I mean, Zion Childress, Jalen Geiger. I mean, our team is loaded on the defensive side, in my opinion, and I'm ready to see what Brad White can do this upcoming year. And I was just going quickly through the defensive side, and like I said, I think we're loaded this upcoming year.
I think we are too. I think we're going to be very good on defense, and I
Yeah,
think offense is going to be a lot better than last year at least. Which then again, I could be a lot better than
yeah.
last year.
If UK can consistently put up high 20s, low 30s, and then our defense can keep, the offense from scoring like 20 points a game, we'll be winning every game.
I'm of that. I think I'm of that belief too.
Yeah,
So,
give me
I,
like give me like 28 to 31 points per game for our offense, and then just let our defense, keep in between 13 to 20, and we'll win every game. Come on now.
yeah, I think it's a good point.
But all right, we're going to end this podcast, so I hope y'all enjoyed. But like I said, I think Nolan and I were both predicting 8-4 this upcoming year. Obviously, different ways we're going to get to 8-4. Last year, I predicted 9-3. Obviously, UK went 7-5, but could have
Right.
easily gone 9-3 last year. I mean, could have easily beat Vandy, South Carolina, or Ole Miss. I mean, sadly,
Should have.
didn't. And hopefully, my prediction won't be wrong. Or if it is wrong, hopefully UK will have more wins than 8 this upcoming year before the bowl game.
Yeah, I think 8-4 is about right for right now. But please prove me wrong.
Yeah, please prove me wrong by going 10-2 this upcoming year. But
Or 12-0
yeah,
preferably.
well, no, let's do it. Let's go to the college football playoff.
Let's win a national title.
Yeah, SEC championship game.
Yeah, probably not. But
All right.
let's just be honest with ourselves. But stay sober, go big blue, have fun. Not too much fun. I guess that's all I'm saying. Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, well, we appreciate you all listening and watching to this podcast. Obviously, we'll have more podcasts to come, and we'll probably have a special guest come on to this podcast this week. As long as they don't bail on us, we will have a guest this upcoming week to preview the very first game of the year, and we'll talk about his UK experience and career while he was here.
Yeah, can't wait.
Yeah,
Shout out to this person.
shout out to the person. Don't bill. Please don't bill.
Yeah. All right, peace. See you.
Yeah, peace out, y'all. Thanks for watching.